Just hey guys, welcome back. So today I actually want to talk about this whole topic about being a nice guy and being a nice girl, and just the terminology of nice or good. I feel as if nice and good are terms that we just throw around arbitrarily, and we kind of use it almost like we use the word friend. Like, we say, oh, that's my friend and that's my friend, and it's just a person that you know of, but you claim them as your friend. I mean, the person could be your associate. But anyway, I think that, society has programmed us to believe that, okay, you're a nice guy, or he's a nice guy, or she's a nice girl, or a good girl, or a nice girl, because she knows how to cook, she knows how to clean, he pays bills, he doesn't cheat. That's a nice guy. But I don't really consider a person a nice person based on transactional elements. I consider a person nice or good, especially somebody that I want to be around, based on how they treat other people. Like, are you a joy to be around? Are you pleasant to be around? Like, when I'm around you, is it a lot of mental stress? Or if a person is around me, is it a lot of mental or emotional stress that I put them through? To me, that is what I would describe somebody as a good person. Like, you can't tell me this guy is a good person or this girl is a good person and they don't respect boundaries. They don't acknowledge when they are wrong. They're only nice to people based on their social status or how they look. So, for example, you're only nice to good looking people, or you're only nice to CEOs, but you treat the janitor like rubbish. Like, you have absolutely no respect for a person who is a personal assistant. I mean, like, we saw all these things coming out with like Ellen DeGeneres, and there were people making excuse, oh well, she was rude to the PA, and it's like, not because somebody's a production assistant that they're less of value to other people, that you could treat them badly. But yet you would describe yourself as a nice person, you would describe that person as a nice person because they again pay bills, or because they bought you ice cream one point in time. But again, a person be doing things for you, but then they always have to remind you that they do things for you. And a person that needs to remind you that they do things for other people, or the minute things go wrong, they be like, I did this for you, and how could you do that? And like, they always have to throw it in your face that they did stuff for you. That means you didn't really do it for me. You kind of did it to boost your own ego. You kind of did it to make yourself feel better and to feel like you're a good person. And you often see with like some guys that are like, I'm a nice guy and girls don't want to be with me. The fact that you have to mention over and over you're a nice guy and all the things that you did for her, you really didn't do it for her. You did it on the basis that she would sleep with you, if you understand what I'm saying. And as well as, do you respect boundaries? Like, are you a person, if a girl or a guy comes to you and they're like, I don't like hugging, or I don't like excessive cursing, and you're like, forget that, and you still decide to choose to swear, and you don't respect the fact that, okay, this is the person's boundary, and they refuse to be in a relationship with somebody who is cursing all the time. You have no respect for that boundary. You don't have respect for that person's feelings, their thoughts, their ideas. And back to the point of acknowledging you're wrong. There are a lot of people who cannot acknowledge the fact that they're wrong. So somebody tells them that, hey, you hurt my feelings, and they have to throw in the face what you did incorrectly. They can't sit down and be like, okay, I did something wrong. Let me go back and assess what I just did and come back to you and be like, I'm sorry, I did you dirty. I wasn't the best boyfriend, I wasn't the best girlfriend, I wasn't the best mom, I wasn't the best dad. But I know that takes a lot of dying of your ego. But a lot of human beings kind of do that. But then we perceive somebody, oh, that's a good person, or that's a nice person. But a lot of us have not been taught those sorts of values. Like, do you respect other people who have opinions that are different that are yours? Like, I could understand if somebody has an opinion that could negatively impact your life. So for instance, if a person's opinion is that black people should not be paid as equally as a white person, well, yeah, I could respect your right to have an opinion, but we don't need to be in the same space, if you understand what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm not going to disrespect you as a human being. I'm going to be like, okay, that's your opinion. You go in a corner, you sit there right there. But what I'm referring to is respecting other people's beliefs. I'm talking about like this person chooses to wear particular clothing and you don't like the particular clothing, so you're gonna disrespect them and you're gonna be rude and you're gonna call them names, but then at the same time you're like, I'm a good person. So you know, these whole concept of good and bad, it's like it's kind of arbitrarily used. And we tend to call people good because, you know, as a woman you cook, you clean, but going back to being pleasant, are you pleasant to be around? Sometimes we have aunts, we have uncles, we have older relatives that like you go to their house, or even like a co-worker or whatever, like an older co-worker or whatever, and yeah, they're always cooking, they're always cleaning, they're always doing whatever for people. But then when you go to their house, they ask you a bunch of questions and make you uncomfortable, or they're just not pleasant, they're always complaining. And that's one thing that I personally cannot stand, being around somebody who's always complaining non-stop. And like if you ask them, would you want a slice of cake, and they're like, oh god, that cake has too much calories, blah 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 blah. Or you know, those type of people, like from the time you reach into their house, or like, you know, they're like some older relatives who like from the time you see them, they're like, so you don't have a husband already, you don't have a girlfriend already, you don't have a wife already. And from the minute you walk into their space as a younger person, they're ready to disregard every single thing you've ever said. They don't respect your boundaries, they don't care about your life, but they're always bad talking you and trashing you. And then when you don't want to share their space, they're like, so why she doesn't want to share my space, or why he doesn't want to share my space? But it's like, because you're not pleasant to be around, you're constantly complaining, you're constantly being disrespectful to other people, then what's the point in me sharing a space with you? Like, that does not make sense. So yeah, that was just what I want to say about the whole concept of being a good person, because I think, again, we've been socialized to just see people as a good person in these really meaningless ways, based on like how much money the person has or their ability to perform a transaction. That's it.